This is Busted Pencils, fully leaded education talk. Here are your hosts, Dr. Tim Slecker and Dr. Johnny Lupinacci, educated educators talking education.
Yeah, that's what we do here. It's Busted Pencils, fully leaded education talk, educated educators talking education. Friday, face-offs, free throws, you name it, free throws, face-offs.
Winter activities, Tim.
Winter activities, man, Johnny.
A little rumor is it snowed out there by you, so
Hey,
you're feeling wintry.
In Ohio, we have, about 5 total inches now, so
it's more than we
went
got.
Out. Yeah, I was wondering what you guys are having in Wisconsin right there. But,
a very disappointing total of about 3 inches of snow this season. Right now, there's just a bare little sprinkling on the ground. It makes me sad.
Johnny, you've been getting covered though, right?
Oh yeah, man. We always getting hammered by the snow. It's winter. That's how we do. But I would tell you, Tim, on the topic of storms.
Yeah, tell me about the storm, man. You've been
Central Wisconsin storm, man. I can't get enough of them. Our guy Jimmy K, doing the play-by-play for him. This is some great hockey. Those gals are off to just a heater of a season, 14-3. I mean,
all right,
in the top 6. So they're leading their division. Oh man, playing some good hockey. They just coming up a big win, 6-0 against Hudson Raiders. I think I got that right. Yeah, the Hudson Raiders, and then they have a game this Friday against, get this, I love this, Beaver Dam Golden Beavers.
Oh, well.
So Central Wisconsin Storm's going to take on the Beaver Dam Golden Beavers this Friday night, and they play Lakeshore Lightning on Saturday. So lots of great hockey from my favorite Wisconsin high school hockey team, CW Storm, baby. Let's go.
You're right, Storm Chaser, Johnny Lupinacci.
That's right. I'm coining that, storm chasing. Follow him on the Instagram. Listening to Jimmy K live, supporting women's hockey over in Wisconsin.
I was gonna say, are you officially in the fan club and stuff? Do you get their newsletter? You're like, man, I don't even know if those things exist. I'm
the
just
2025 version of that.
Just throwing a little sarcastic throw at you there, Johnny, because hey, it's fun, but yeah, we love all that. The commitment. We've been talking, a lot about, we always say with our Friday episode, the extracurriculars. No, the essential curriculars, and we said whether it was in the fall when we were talking about Friday Night Lights or, women's cross country, it didn't matter because we're talking about the essential parts of what makes a public education or an education complete, because it can't just be the academics. So Johnny, though, speaking of, here we are,
we got a guest with us, Tim.
We got a guest, Johnny, and you're pulling in the guest today. So I'm going to let you do the kind of introductions, and then I'm going to kind of sit back and try to figure out a really sarcastic type of question to see if I can catch our guest off guards with.
Oh man, you're not going to catch him off guards because he's got quick reflexes. That's a little bit of a teaser intro. We got with us. I'm obsessed with hockey. We've teased out that I coach hockey and used to play hockey, and now get the opportunity to coach it here at Washington State University. But former player, starting goalie. He's graduated now, so he's our assistant coach of the hockey team. But we got Kane Paxton from WSU Hockey with us here today. But really, besides him being a great hockey player and an awesome hockey coach and all those things, we'll touch on that. But really, one of the things we've been talking about a lot, Tim, and this guy's got stuff to shine light on for our listeners with that. But just the role that hockey plays, like any sport, like you said, it's an essential. Let's ask Kane, if you could talk to us a little bit about how hockey's been part of your education.
Yeah, first of all, thanks guys for having me. Happy to be here. Johnny, I love you, helping you out, doing whatever I can. Tim, Jess, nice to meet you.
How early did you start playing hockey?
I think my crazy dad threw me on skates when I was about 2.5, and I started playing at 5 with 7-year-olds. So, he was just like, you just got to learn. You're going to learn trial by fire. So I'm now 26. So, I mean, do the math, it's forever. And I love it, but I think my introduction just is a really nice way of saying I'm a little bit washed up, but,
Nah.
but yeah, you know, hockey in school, it's a challenge. Like, these girls playing high school in Wisconsin. I'm not very versed with the Wisconsin high school hockey women's, but I've been following UW Lake Superior, watching their women's hockey. Credit Molly Black. She's been killing it between the pipes in her senior season. So, and then U18 women's national team, you know, they lost it in the gold medal game, which hurts, but really surprised to see what women's hockey is becoming, but trying to do that and go to school, it's really hard. Don't let anyone tell you it's something you sneeze at or it's something that you can get done. There's few that people that can do it, and all power to them.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I just
Johnny,
want to ask you though, like could you imagine school without the essential component to it? I'm kind of leading here,
yeah,
the
there you go.
thing, but you know, like without hockey
Um,
for you?
I don't think that I would have gone anywhere without hockey. You know, I just spoke with someone in the business aspect, and I said without hockey, I don't think even in my business I would have had like the competitive edge or the drive to get things done on time. I think hockey instilled that into me, and I know that there's plenty of listeners out there that their sport did the same to them. It's helped them every step of the way and created who they were outside of the sport, especially in school.
Yeah, we've had a a couple guests who talked about that. Actually, we had a Harvard football player graduate. He's now incredibly successful business person, and he just talked about and he grew up playing football and the discipline and the connections that he would not be where he is today had it not been for that discipline, the teamwork, the leadership, the things that he learned that he said, football was even though at your age at 27, our Brent Wilkinson was our guest, he's 60, and he was saying, when you play, actually, when you get to his age, you play for actually a short amount of time. And how much, though, that contributed to who he is as a leader of a Fortune 500 company right now. And that, what felt like a little blip, how impactful that time was playing football, creating those connections, and then even talking about saying it probably made him more successful at school.
Yeah, I can definitely agree to that. There was this banner that we had in our rink constantly, and it was honor roll banner. And it was just such a like prideful thing to have in your rink. It was what our rink did was they put it right when you walked in, and every year you'd go check and see if your name was on there. So just having that, and then you have like my parents instilled you have to have this GPA in order to go to practice, or even my dad said, hey, if you think you're sick and you can't go to school, you can't go to practice. And then that had its repercussions in hockey, because being a goalie, you have one net versus five skaters. You don't go to practice once or twice a week and you're sick, you're not getting that game Sunday night. So you made sure that you were going to school, you made sure that your homework was done, and you made sure that you weren't bringing out the crafts the night before trying to get a project done.
Mm.
I love that, man. Hey, I gotta ask this question because it's like low hanging fruit right
Yeah.
there. And we got a guy here who's played competitive hockey his whole life, who made it part of his college education, who's like kind of an early version of our past guest, who was a Harvard football player. This is
Right.
master's business guy from WSU here. So he's got some different perspectives on it. Now he's a coach of students who are playing on the team. So I'm going to think like, we know about like the nerd stuff we learn in classes, the reading, writing and stuff. And it's important to maintain a good GPA and be a studious. But what are the lessons that you learned in hockey that you weren't maybe necessarily explicitly learning in class that are taking you to that next level in your life?
Being part of a team, I think that's the biggest life lesson that I learned. In class, everything is on you. Now, when you get to like higher education, I noticed more and more group projects, and I was able to excel at those relatively easily. And being a captain of WSU, I was able to take leadership of those groups. Um, but that's the probably the biggest thing that I took away from being hockey, is being able to work as a team and picking up people that may have like a strength here or a weakness there, and building off of that and the way that we could be most successful.
You just said that, Kane, and it made me think. I even put a little note there, team versus individual, and thinking about that. When we're really talking about schools and academic and education, we typically too, Johnny and I have a real critical look at saying, the academic pursuits are very individual in that standpoint, and how in one way that's absolutely not the expectation when you get out in the world. It's working with others, working, whether you call them a team, a group, you're you know, and yeah, and guess what? And you've got a mixture of who these people are. And so I really appreciate you talking about that part, that learning to work as a member of a team where your individual performance matters, but your team really matters. And I think for a listener out there to hear that, as we talk about it and say, yeah, right now, listener, we know we're talking about hockey and it sounds exclusively on sports, but we have talked about also, whether if you're on the debate team, if you're on chorus, if you're part of the stage crew, it's those essential curriculars that working with other people in situations that are actually more real life than sitting in front of a teacher listening to them drone on while you're individually taking notes and trying to make sure you make honor roll. Hey, if you were an honor roll student, 608-557-8577, let us know. We would love to hear from you. That's the Busted Pencils mailbag. Or any of you who had to sit out a practice or two waiting to get those grades up, we want to hear from you. Maybe more importantly, 608-557-8577. That's the number, Busted Pencils mailbag. So, Johnny, I was just thinking the way Kane said that, that truly the essential skill of being with others, you know?
Yeah, man. And you think about it's the left and right hand of an education. If you, for whether it's like you said, hockey or club, some kind of other club, maybe it's chess club, maybe it's robotics, whatever that what's often called extracurricular. It's that place where you can connect with other people, where you have accountability, you have goals that you achieve together, right? And you can apply oftentimes the skills together. And maybe they're not like directly, like maybe learning something in algebra class that doesn't necessarily directly transfer, but all those skills accumulate, right? If we're thinking about high school or middle school, all those skills accumulate to when we're in college, and then when we're taking it into our life and our career, right? Our families and our neighborhoods, they come together with, yeah, you can, we've heard it before. You can be book smart, but you also have to be
Mm-hmm.
street smart. And I think that's a great way of bringing the two things together. These so-called extracurriculars are really essential when they're coupled with what you're learning in school. And then you're getting to practice and enjoy,
Yeah.
right? And experience wins and losses, whether they're competitive wins or losses, or they're just goals you've set that you're working to achieve and you haven't gotten
Yeah.
yet, right? So we're learning life lessons when we're doing these things together. Man, I always say it, like coaches are like teachers, teachers are like coaches. We need more coach teachers in the classroom, less cops in
Yeah,
the
we do.
classroom, right? More coaches, less cops. How about that for a statement?
I love that. More coaches, more. Kane. So you made me think. So you're a goalie.
Yeah.
You're a goal. Okay. So I'm just thinking about this. If you watch, 50s and 60s hockey with the goalies with no mask.
I mean, I've seen clips. I don't think I've been able to sit through an entire game because I just wince. But
Yeah, I was just wondering, looking at that, but then too the amount, like, I mean, it hurts, doesn't it, back there?
I mean, yeah, it does. I mean, I'm gonna be on my second shoulder surgery, and I have to get my hip done. I mean, it's just the name of the game. You're sacrificing your body. I mean, even not a goalie, a player like that blocks
Yeah,
a shot, they're wearing less gear than I am. They're the ones that are
right.
crazy. Everyone thinks the goalie's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that because I mean, what's that puck going? 100 plus miles an hour?
In
You know,
some leagues, yeah.
you
And you're
know.
right, and you're right there.
Yeah. Well, at least you get to not have the mouth of an old time hockey player.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the Cajun from. But hey, you know what I'm curious too is this is a great opportunity as we wind down this session a bit. But I would love to just pick Kane's brain and share with our listeners. So, Kane, you came to college because you wanted to get a college degree and you wanted hockey to be a part of it. So you chose what so many hockey players in this country do is they go and play club hockey, right? And so what that means is they're students first, just like all athletes. We talked about that with our Harvard football player, right? Like you're a student first, then you're a football player as part of being a student or a hockey player. But club sports is even more level of like you're a student. You're here to get a degree, so you choose where to go to school based on that. And then hockey's been a part of your life, so you play it competitively. But just talk us through a little bit of like what's an average week like for a club hockey player?
Oh God. It's intense, right? Because again, you got to focus on your classes and you got to focus on keeping your body healthy. And when you're doing something like constantly going to practice or going to the gym, like for me, when I was playing, it was 2 practices a week, 5:30 in the morning. So you got to make sure that you're getting your rest, you're getting your homework done. And in college, it's a little bit easier because you can kind of pick your classes and have like a heavy day or a lighter day. But sometimes you don't have the choice, and sometimes you have those late night labs. So day in day out, you're going to class in the morning, and then on those 2 days, you're at the rink before you even in class. You're at the rink putting in work, or you're at the gym before people are even thinking about waking up to get breakfast. And by 9 a.m., you're in your first class, you're ready to go. Noon, you're done. Maybe you grab a nap, and then you got class at 2 to 4, something like that, or late night lab, and then you go hang out with your guys or your teammates and or group members. You do work until 11. It's the same thing the next day.
Hmm. The commitment is just phenomenal when you think about that. I mean, my experience. I played at high school athletics. I was a wrestler, and yeah, even that. Just weekends. We practiced during the weekends or over the holiday breaks. We practiced. It was just one of those things, and so to figure out, how do you you're staying physically fit, conditioned, you're taking some injuries here and there. You're trying to figure out how to do your algebra homework. At the time too, I'm trying to spend time with my girlfriend, who of course didn't think that I should be spending any time wrestling. So just those negotiations. I'm like, Jess, you're laughing about that.
But Tim, you're onto
Priorities.
something here. It's like whatever it is, you're learning to balance life and organize your time. And it's a life skill, right?
Mm,
And it's all coming to head, especially in college, right? It is now on you
Yeah.
to do that as a student athlete, balance social life, the passion for the sport that you're in or the club that you're part of, and your studies, because that's what you're there for. You're setting up your life and your career. So it's no joke. We talk a lot about being a good college teacher.
mm,
So I just wanted the listeners out there who teach college to hear that, like, you have students in your class who are participating in clubs, debate teams, all kinds of different things that are a huge part of what they love about
mhm,
being at that school. It's not always like just, hey, this big time football player or basketball player is here just to go pro. Almost all of the student athletes on our campuses are here first for an education. And that
mhm.
part of that education is this thing that they love that's key to what they're doing. So remember, they have a full day. They're not just trying to slack or be in class or take easy routes. They've got a busy schedule and it's part of their education.
Yeah, thinking about that. Kane, one last question
Oh
though.
boy, here it
I
comes.
just no, I
Oh
tease.
boy.
I'm not gonna throw it. I just, as you're now in this position as an assistant coach, you said, right,
Yep.
with Johnny, and you're currently working on a master's, or you're
I'm done. I
done
finished
with your
last May. Yep.
and you also have another job on top of
Yep.
the coaching.
I
Yeah.
do a sales
Okay.
job. Yep.
So here it is, right? So full adult life, you're still doing what a lot of people go, how do you do it, Kane?
Love of the game. College hockey college hockey, club hockey, same thing. Club hockey is college hockey.
Yeah.
You got to love what you do, and I do.
Nice. Johnny, you know what's next, man.
Yes, I do. And now it's time for your moment of Zen. The future is an infinite succession of presents, and to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad all around us. It itself is a marvelous victory.
Special thanks to Kane Paxton. Thanks for busting pencils with us, Kane. Tune in tomorrow. Full hour of busted pencils at 3 p.m. across all the Civic Media talk stations. We're going to be talking with that Canadian, Jason Bucheri, expert in ed tech. Come back on Monday for homeroom and Wednesday for classes in session with Aditya Nagrath on overcoming math anxiety. Now, everyone, go out there and keep busting pencils.